rose from the sea like a jewel, founded by Phoenician settlers from Tyre around 814 years before Christ. Its harbors shimmered with bronze sails and cargoes from every corner of the Mediterranean. The city was a marvel of engineering, protected by 23 miles of walls and a circular harbor that could hide hundreds of warships. At its center stood a military dockyard accessible only through a secret channel. Commerce fueled its power, trading silver, gold, ivory, glass, and purple dye across Africa, Iberia, and the Levant. It was a maritime empire born not from conquest, but cunning and control of the sea. Carthage's ruling elite formed a merchant oligarchy, with councils and judges rather than kings. Its senate of elders made decisions behind closed doors, where wealth spoke louder than war cries. Its religion was mysterious and ancient, devoted to Baal Hammon and the goddess Tanit. Rituals of fire and sacrifice were offered in great temples and tofits, hidden from foreign eyes. Naval strength defined Carthage, with fast triremes manned by mercenaries and seafarers from Numidia, Iberia, and beyond. Its fleet was the most advanced in the ancient world, guarded like sacred treasure. Rome, once a minor rival across the sea, watched Carthage grow with unease. In 264, the First Punic War erupted over control of Sicily, sparking one of history's longest and bloodiest conflicts. Carthage dominated at sea, but underestimated Roman resilience. Rome built an entire navy from scratch, training crews on land before daring to face the Punic fleet. They introduced the corvus, a boarding bridge that transformed sea battles into infantry brawls. This innovation turned the tide, and Rome claimed Sicily after 23 years of brutal fighting. Carthage paid dearly, both in silver and lost prestige. Its western provinces rebelled, and mercenary armies once loyal turned on their masters in the chaos that followed. But the Barcid family rose to reclaim Carthage's strength, pushing into Iberia to establish a new empire. General Hamilcar Barca laid the foundations, but his son Hannibal would make history tremble. In 218, Hannibal crossed the Alps with 90,000 troops, 12,000 cavalry, and 37 war elephants. He lost half his men in snow and battle, but emerged into Italy like a storm from the mountains. He crushed Rome's armies at Trebia and Lake Trasimene using terrain and deception. At Cannae, he executed a double envelopment, surrounding and destroying a Roman force twice his size. 70,000 Romans died in one day, including senators and consuls. Rome was paralyzed with fear, yet Hannibal did not march on the city itself. Carthage withheld reinforcements, hoping Hannibal's presence alone would win the war. Instead, Rome adopted Fabian tactics, avoiding battle and wearing Hannibal down through attrition. Rome struck back by invading Iberia, defeating Hannibal's brothers and seizing the silver-rich territories. The young Scipio Africanus emerged as a brilliant strategist, admired even by his enemies. In 204, Scipio invaded Africa, forcing Carthage to recall Hannibal after 16 years abroad. The two legends met at the Battle of Zama in 202, where Roman discipline and tactics broke the Punic line. Carthage surrendered, stripped of its fleet, empire, and independence in foreign policy. It survived as a weakened state, still wealthy, but now under Rome's shadow. Yet Carthage thrived in trade, quickly rebuilding its economy and influence. This frightened Roman senators who believed Carthage could rise again if left unchecked. Cato the Elder ended every speech with Carthago delenda est, Carthage must be destroyed. Rome waited for a reason, and in 149 it found one in a dispute with a nearby African tribe. The Third Punic War began with impossible demands. Rome ordered Carthage to disarm completely and abandon its city to rebuild inland. The Carthaginians chose death over exile. They armed every citizen, melted gold for weapons, and built catapults from burned wood. The siege lasted 3 years, during which starvation, disease, and slaughter claimed tens of thousands. Carthage fought block by block, floor by floor, in what became an apocalyptic end. Roman legions finally broke through the walls in 146. They burned the city for 17 days and enslaved the survivors. The temples were looted, the libraries lost, and the culture buried beneath ash. Rome claimed to have salted the earth, ensuring no city would rise there again. Over 7 centuries of power were erased in a single act of annihilation. Carthage, once the rival of empires, became dust beneath Roman boots. But the memory endured. Hannibal's tactics became military doctrine, studied by generals from Napoleon to Eisenhower. Roman historians who celebrated Carthage's fall also preserved its greatness. They could not erase what had burned so brightly. The ruins of Carthage remain in modern Tunisia, overlooking the sea where its fleet once ruled. Columns rise from the dust, silent but unbroken. Carthage fell not from weakness, but from strength that threatened a rising empire. It was destroyed not for what it had done, but for what it could do again. Legends are not buried with stones. They live in fear, in fire, in names whispered across time. Carthage was not a city. It was a force of will. Dig deep enough and you will still hear it breathe. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to see future videos. Share if you would like to support the channel. Your body is home to trillions of bacteria. In fact, they outnumber your human cells. This invisible army is called the microbiome. It lives in your gut, on your skin, and even in your lungs. Without them, you wouldn't survive. They help digest food, protect against disease, and even produce vitamins. From the moment you're born, bacteria start moving in. Some come from your mother, others from the world around you. As you grow, your microbiome becomes uniquely yours. Like a bacterial fingerprint shaped by where you live and what you eat. In your gut alone, there are more bacterial cells than stars in the galaxy, each one playing a role in your daily health. These microbes talk to your brain. Through the gut-brain axis, they can influence mood, memory, and even decisions. Some scientists call your gut the second brain, because these bacteria produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. That means your happiness may start in your intestines. Feeling anxious? It might be your microbes sending signals. Antibiotics, while life-saving, can wipe out good bacteria. A single dose can set your microbiome back for weeks. Processed foods and sugar can harm your gut flora. Fiber, fermented foods, and diversity in diet feed the good bacteria. Stress can also weaken your microbial defenses. Sleep, meditation, and healthy routines keep them thriving. There's even research suggesting your microbiome affects weight. Some people gain more from the same meal just because of their bacteria. In fact, lean and obese individuals have very different microbiomes. And fecal transplants have shown promising results in changing metabolism. Your skin has its own microbial community. These bacteria protect against infections and balance your skin's health. Every handshake, kiss, or shared space exchanges bacteria. We are constantly blending ecosystems with those around us. Your pets influence your microbiome too. People with dogs tend to have more diverse gut bacteria. Even the air you breathe carries microbes. Cities, forests, oceans, each environment shares its own bacterial signature. Modern hygiene has its costs. While it prevents disease, it also reduces exposure to helpful microbes. Rural kids tend to have stronger immune systems than urban ones. Early exposure to a wide range of bacteria may prevent allergies and autoimmune issues. Farming communities have lower rates of asthma, all thanks to dirt and animal microbes training their immune systems. Scientists are exploring ways to restore microbiome balance. Probiotics, prebiotics, and even customized bacterial therapies are in development. In the future, we may treat depression or obesity with bacteria. Imagine a pharmacy of microscopic allies tailored just for you. Your body is not just yours. It's a vast ecosystem, a living planet of bacterial life. You are more bacteria than human. But maybe that's not a bad thing at all. Like, subscribe, and share if you're ready to embrace your inner microbes. Alexander was born in the year 356, before the Common Era, in the city of Pella, Macedonia, into a world of blood and ambition. His father, King Philip II, was a ruthless strategist who dreamed of conquering Greece. His mother, Olympias, was fierce and deeply religious. She told her son he was descended from Achilles and fathered by Zeus. As a child, Alexander tamed a wild horse named Bucephalus, the only one brave enough to ride it. His father said, "Macedonia is too small for you." At 13, he was sent to study under Aristotle. He absorbed knowledge of philosophy, warfare, medicine, and the epic tales of Homer. Alexander slept with a copy of the Iliad under his pillow. Achilles became his role model, a warrior who sought glory above all. By 16, Alexander was left to rule Macedonia as regent, while Philip campaigned elsewhere. He crushed a Thracian revolt and founded a city in his name. At 18, he fought beside his father at the Battle of Chaeronea. He led the left wing and shattered the sacred band of Thebes. In 336 BC, Philip was assassinated at a royal wedding. Alexander seized the throne immediately, eliminating rivals before they could act. The Greek city-states saw an opportunity to break free. Alexander marched south and razed Thebes to the ground, killing thousands and enslaving the rest. With Greece secured, he declared war on Persia. It was a bold move. The Persians had the largest empire on earth. In 334 BC, he crossed the Hellespont into Asia. He visited the supposed site of Troy and paid tribute to Achilles at his tomb. At the Battle of the Granicus River, he led a charge across the water against Persian forces. His men urged caution, but he wanted victory through boldness. The Persians fell back in chaos, and Alexander claimed his first major victory. He spared captured Greek mercenaries, but executed their Persian officers. He moved through Asia Minor, liberating Greek cities and gaining allies. His army grew stronger with every town he took. At Gordium, he faced the legendary Gordian knot. Rather than solve it, he cut it in half with his sword, fulfilling the prophecy in his own way. Meanwhile, Darius III prepared a massive army to crush him. The two armies met near Issus, where the terrain favored Alexander's smaller force. Alexander's cavalry slammed into the Persian center. Darius fled the battlefield, leaving his mother, wife, and children behind. Instead of abusing his victory, Alexander treated the captured women with honor. Word spread that this young king was unlike any other. He turned south toward Egypt, conquering coastal cities along the way. Tyre resisted, so Alexander built a causeway to reach it. The siege of Tyre lasted 7 months. When the city finally fell, he slaughtered 8,000 men and sold 30,000 into slavery. Arriving in Egypt, he was welcomed as a liberator. He founded the city of Alexandria, destined to become a center of learning and trade. At the Oracle of Siwa, deep in the desert, priests declared him the son of Zeus Ammon. The prophecy confirmed his divine right to rule. Alexander still had much more to accomplish. He marched to meet Darius again, this time at Gaugamela. The Persians outnumbered him 5-1. With brilliant tactics, he broke through the Persian lines and went straight for Darius. Once again, the Persian king fled. Alexander marched into Babylon and was crowned King of Kings. The treasures of the empire were his. He moved through Susa and into Persepolis, the ceremonial capital. There, in a drunken frenzy, he set the palace ablaze. Some said it was revenge for Persia's burning of Athens a century earlier. Others said it was madness. Alexander now ruled the largest empire in history, but he wasn't finished. He wanted to push east, to the edges of the known world. In Bactria, he fought brutal guerrilla campaigns in freezing mountains. He took a local wife, Roxana, to help secure his hold. But trouble brewed among his men. They were weary, cold, and homesick, and didn't like seeing Alexander adopt Persian customs. He began dressing like a Persian king and demanded to be worshipped as a god. Many saw this as betrayal. Some plotted against him. His closest friend Clytus criticized him drunkenly, and Alexander killed him in rage. Haunted by the murder, Alexander fell into deep despair. he isolated himself more and more. He marched into India, facing King Porus and his war elephants at the back. Alexander was born in the year 356. Your body is home to trillions. Alexander was born in the year 300. Your body is home to trillions of bacteria. Carthage rose from the sea like a jewel, founded by Phoenician settlers from Tyre around 814 years before Christ. Its harbors shimmered with bronze sails and cargoes from every corner of the Mediterranean. The city was a marvel of engineering, protected by 23 miles of walls and a circular harbor that could hide hundreds of warships. At its center stood a military dockyard accessible only through a secret channel. Commerce fueled its power, trading silver, gold, ivory, glass, and purple dye across Africa, Iberia, and the Levant. It was a maritime empire born not from conquest, but cunning and control of the sea. Carthage's ruling elite formed a merchant oligarchy, with councils and judges rather than kings. Its senate of elders made decisions behind closed doors, where wealth spoke louder than war cries. Its religion was mysterious and ancient, devoted to Baal Hammon and the goddess Tanit. Rituals of fire